Hello and welcome everyone, it is me, the Laval, awesome knows the power to do this, back for you with another video. And before we get into the Q&A, as you can probably tell from the title, I did want to take a quick moment to really thank you guys for 700 subs. As mentioned in that post, it's amazing that even with, me being a guy with like a niche interest and a niche interest within that niche interest, that this channel is still growing, and people are consistently tuning in for the new videos. I would just like to thank you very much for all the support. This community post brought up some really like wholesome answers. The comment from Luca Leventhal, like, man, you're awesome, like, holy, like, I smiled so much at that comment when I read it. Even if I'm sorry that the post was like maybe a bit misunderstandable. But no, I'm not, stopping anytime soon. But it's nice to know that viewers care. So thanks so much for that. I appreciate all of you. And with that, let's get into the questions. For anyone wondering why I'm in Master Duel, I have opened a secret pack that I have never seen in my life before. Yeah, I'll just flip through some of these. Maybe I'll pull a royal, would be funny. And get through the questions. If these are no like particular order, I'm just going through the community posts on my like secondary screen. And we are starting off with a question from Mined Inc. I'm sorry if I mess up any names. Like, this is like awesome to see us still growing. The more Morphtronic Grammars, the better. Still yet to face one on MD. Wanted to ask, would you be interested in trying a link focus mod? That's a cool poll in the first pack. Would you be interested in trying a link focus Morphtronic deck? Sorry for getting distracted. The ones I play make use of the telephone loop. Shocking, I know, right? And to keep link climbing into strong monsters, even extra linking if you want. While it may seem less interesting since it's abusing the loop, you still play Morphtronic cards like Cellphone, Smartphone, and Remoten, and there's a lot you can still do with them. You could make really strong boards, and many of the links are also good for breaking boards. If you're interested in the deck list, let me know and I'll reply with it. I'm personally not like a huge fan of the link variant, for reasons that will probably get apparent later in this Q&A. Sadly, can't answer these here to like, predate some of the other questions. In the past, I've looked into link variants, mainly for completion's sake, not because like it's mainly, the variant of the deck that I prefer or like play the most. But just, to have them covered, basically. I don't know if I'll do that in the future, to be honest, because some of those deck profiles are not great. But personally, I think it's like sick that, the Link deck gets to, use this like incredibly crazy toolbox of like monsters, because I think it is without question that Links are some of the, most powerful monsters in the extra deck that, most decks have access to, that are able to just like put bodies on the board. But specifically because like a lot of Link lines are just like telephone for telephone, I just don't think it's very interesting. It's like very one note. And even if most of, the non-linearity of Morphtronics is caused by RNG, I just think that's like just so much more appealing to just like use that for synchro plays, instead of, just going telephone for telephone. But, it's like a fairly like interesting concept. That is like a peak reason for why I usually am like, if you're a casual Yu-Gi-Oh player and you don't really care if like deck good, Morphtronics are like a really good pick. Because you can, play essentially the same deck in terms of like main deck, but everyone can like kind of, choose their different adventures when it comes to the extra deck, which is a very cool thing. So like, yeah, long story short, not really a huge fan of the Link variant, probably won't get into that anytime soon in like a serious manner. I just think like the telephone loop is like so insanely boring, that I like couldn't be asked, because realistically I think the MBT 10-minute testing list that he uploaded when like the new support dropped is like roughly what like you could just run for like a Link variant. You just play like telephone, multiple ways to get to it, and then like a couple extenders and defensive cards. No real other Morphtronics needed. Which, like, yeah, is it really playing Morphtronics? Like a Ghost Trick situation, but you know, I feel like a lot feels very like superfluous in the Link variant to like a degree. Moving on here to Bob Stoner, which I might need to group into with another question, because you guys pretty much asked the same thing. Bob Stoner asked, my boy, thank you so much for your videos. Thank you for your continued support. I've seen you under a couple of my videos. First, how long have you been playing Yu-Gi-Oh? Second, what made you want to play Morphtronics? And third, what support do Morphies need? I'll quickly, you know, just pull up another question here, which is from Chinese Kitties? Chinese Kitties. Is that correct? I feel like such an old man reading these. Holy. Love you, dude. What's your history with Yu-Gi-Oh? When did you start playing? Did you watch Duel Monsters? When did you become the Power Tool Duelist? Congrats on this achievement. Thank you so very much. Because the first one kind of, you know, like it's a bit overlapping. Basically, I started playing Yu-Gi-Oh in 5th grade, which should be around 2009, 2010. Basically got shown the whole thing from a friend that I was initially, you know, talking a lot about Pokemon with. And yeah, from there it kind of like took shape, you know. Started watching the anime, which was 5Ds back in the day, which explains why I'm such a like huge stan for, you know, the 5Ds anime and a lot of things related to it. And otherwise, yeah, I played like 2 or 3 years, 3 years in middle school, and then I took a long break. Played only like on occasion the 2011 World Championship game for the DS. Played like Duel Links, Legacy of the Duelist in between until like around 2018, 2019 is when I got back into the game. Which, you know, I think a lot of you know how like a large portion of you, how a large portion of that journey went, because I've been, you know, kind of broadcasting it to YouTube. So that is like this covered. I'll probably finish Bob's question first. What made you want to play Morphtronics? The simple answer is Power Tool Dragon. Power Tool Dragon is still my favorite card in the entire game. It's like a very iconic card from the 5Ds anime back then, which I, you know, got my hands on a Power Tool Dragon tin back then. And for a long time, that was just like my boss monster. I think Power Tool Dragon is an incredibly cool card, especially in like this, you know, limited schoolyard environment. Having a boss monster that is rather easy to make, gets stronger each turn, technically also has some protection, is just kind of cool. And I like that. And from there, you know, I kind of picked up Morphtronics. It basically is like you know, a chicken and egg kind of thing. There first was the Power Tool Dragon, and then there, you know, were the Morphtronics. And what support do Morphtronics need? Non-tuners. I think the deck's fine as is. Realistically, I don't think the deck needs like a crazy amount of support at the moment. Because I feel like the new cards we've gotten are very competent, and you can supplement a lot of the deck's like shortcomings with, you know, non-Morphtronic cards in a good couple of cases. But in general, it's non-tuners. The fact that like you just need to keep in mind that, like, you know, a card like Boomboxen just like didn't age as well as, you know, Remoten or Southbound, for example. And like getting like a new 4 that maybe like does a bit more than, you know, just be like a Morphtronic name and maybe a favorable attribute would already like do a lot, you know. So that's like, I think the main thing, if, you know, we ever get new support, that we should get some help with. Now to kind of round out Chinese... Yeah, it's Chinese Kitties, right? Yeah, Chinese Kitties. I'm so sorry if I'm butchering these. When did I start playing it? 09, 2010. Did I watch Duel Monsters? Yeah, I like it. I kind of, you know, Duel Monsters and GX, I like had to like rewatch afterwards. Because like I watched 5Ds back then, finished that, and uh yeah, watched like DM and GX afterwards. Started Arc 5, but otherwise I have no like a whole not like a whole lot of like experience with the Yu-Gi-Oh animes. But yes, I have watched Duel Monsters. I'm so good at rambling. And when did you become the Power Tool Duelist? That like depends on like what constitutes as becoming the Power Tool Duelist. Is it acquiring my first Power Tool Dragon? Because then the answer is like 2010. It's like smaller me, no dyed hair, no glasses. Yeah, then that's like the first one. But if you mean like started the YouTube channel, I believe in 2020. Let me check real quick. I can do this on like the secondary monitor real quick. Click over before the autoplay triggers the sometimes I damn all these websites for like changing it's the 15th of July 2020. That's like the day I created the channel. So yeah, I guess it depends on how you look at it. If it's like the day I got my first Power Tool Dragon, then it's like sometime about a decade ago. And if it's when I created the channel because I really liked this deck and I wanted to like talk about it, then yeah, it's you have an exact date, the 15th of July 2020, which is a thing. Then we have a question from Svetomir Sheev, also a long-time viewer, by the way. Shoutouts to that guy. How did Telephon snuck through R&D, and is Southon truly best boy? I believe Telephon is one of those cards that get like conceived in Konami meetings. When one of the like Konami employees in the R&D has like a drug problem, and all his workmates give him a hard time for it because of course they do, because you shouldn't do drugs. And once a while, this guy just decides to play like a prank on his colleagues and bring edibles to work, but not tell everyone that it's edibles. And those days are like the results of cards like Telephon, because Telephon in like no way, shape, or form shouldn't have just like gotten. I think a hard one spot on is silly. I think everyone saying that is just like saying fuck off to like design cohesion. When you can literally just like throw Accept Mothtronic Telephon on that card and be like more than fine, without just like absolutely smashing the cohesion and playability of the deck. But yeah, that's like the story how Telephon snuck through R&D. I believe this is canon, and anyone that doesn't is wrong. And Southon is truly best boy. Enabled the deck for like a good decade. Basically on his own. Was like a card that's crazy enough to warrant like running essentially a non-archetypal piece that literally just read summon Southon from the deck by tributing this card. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, what more do you need than like who did get a tournament pack reprint? Was it Southon or was it Telephon? Maybe think about that. And then the final, or like second to final question. I have a Twitter question as well. Jesus Christ, I need to pull that up. Almost forgot that. Second to last question from the man, the myth, the legend, the Stormseeker, aka the Diarist of Reapers. When will you stop talking about building salads and just do it? Well, the joke is on you, because I've had the deck for a week and just didn't tell you about it. But yeah, I have like the like semi pre-legendary duelists called, I own that now. Have been doing a bit of test hands. I'm liking it a lot. because, you know, it's salad, you know, it's just good for you. So that's a thing. I already know what time around next year you will show up here. Yes, we talked about that. We did talk about that. And will there ever be something like another series on your channel that does not contain Morphtronics? Just curious about that one. I thought about a couple things in the past in that sense, especially like when I was like out with like friends a couple days ago, and we kind of, you know, came to the topic of my YouTube channel. A friend of mine asked me if I would be interested in like trying like a Master Duel Masochist thing, which like I'm just gonna assume everyone knows what Master Duel Masochist is, and if you don't, check out, you know, Simo. You know, he's maybe, you know, a little known Yu-Gi tuber. I don't know if you've heard of him. Started something called the Yu-Gi-Oh! Progression series. I don't know if you've heard of that. But yeah, I don't know. Master Duel Masochist just seems like very cool because it's like an excuse to run like 40 bad cards, and I think that's funny. So yeah, I'd be absolutely down to like try my hands at that. But before that, I would like to finish getting this deck to Diamond. That'd be like a thing. Have considered like a couple other things in the past. Maybe like something sealed, because I'm like a real fiend for limited play by now. But just like nothing really like concrete and fleshed out, because in a lot of cases, I don't want to just like, you know, take other people's concepts. I also would like to add something that isn't just like my silly self. And I'm kind of, you know, either trying to figure out what that would be, or just like haven't, you know, spent the time thinking about what, you know, those additions would be. But I am looking to maybe try something new. Possibly once, you know, I may have gotten Morphtronics to Diamond. But yeah, that time is not now. And capping off this whole thing, perfectly timed with the last pack, is a question from Twitter, from Dunderzuper. Shoutouts to her. When is the MathMech decklist video coming out? Well, I think building MathMech is in a very difficult spot at the moment. Not that I was gonna do it beforehand. I don't think MathMech is like all that interesting of a deck. And yeah, with a circular ban, there's like even like less reasons to do it, because it's like, yeah, what are you gonna do? Like, foolish Sigma, normal diameter, make Albert, and then what? You know, it's a rough time for sure to be playing MathMech. So yeah, I won't join that anytime soon. Not that I was gonna. Deck's just not interesting. That's like all I'm gonna say to that. So yeah. Huge thanks to everyone that has submitted questions, to everyone that has, you know, followed the channel in some way, shape or form. It's really just like, it's incredible. It's just incredible. That, as mentioned at the start, you know, me as like a silly guy with a niche interest within a niche interest gets to, you know, ramble about that on YouTube, and, you know, slowly build an audience about it, which is great. I love it. And I couldn't be more thankful for it. So yeah, with all that out of the way, I hope I've been some good background noise, because this probably wasn't like that crazy of a watch. Sadly didn't pull any royals. But yeah, I will thank you guys very much for watching. Hope you guys have a lovely holiday season, because this probably will go up before Christmas. And I will see you guys again next time. But until then, goodbye.